physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights, something spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Bienvenido a Boxing Players Latin America. Unfortunately, da pena que esta semana, this week, we are going to do an interview, va a ser una entrevista, but it's going to be in English because our guest interview tonight doesn't speak Spanish. But that being said, I want to introduce my sidekick, my partner, Ray and Maestro Sosa, and maybe we'll see Sakura sometime during the day. If not now, maybe later on. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, our guest tonight, Imran. I'm going to make sure I say this right. Imran Haddabah. He's a St. Pete native, a first generation St. Pete native, born and raised, fighting out of St. Petersburg, got a hell of a record. And even more amazing, he's a 6'4" light heavyweight. I mean, a knockout machine. I mean, with that type of height, these guys are getting bigger and bigger. And every day I see these guys getting bigger and bigger, it makes me happier that I was born in a different era because I'm a midget when I fought a light heavyweight. So, you know, fighting a guy 6'5", punching down, those guys have some serious advantages. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things like that pertaining to his coach, Ali Tehran, who's the head coach, one of the head coaches down there, his coach. He fights at a fight fitness center down in that St. Pete, what do you call it? Is that the Treasure Coast, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever, the west side of Florida. But we have a lot of things to talk about this week. How you doing, Ray? How was your week?
I'm all right. Excuse the shades. I got a sty in my eye, so I had to put these on.
Okay. But you look cool. You look cool.
All
right. So what's going on, man? First and foremost, did you see the fights this week? There was some pretty amazing fights. And then there was a controversial thing that I have my opinion on, and hopefully you'll touch on it. Did you get to see any of the fights this week?
Yeah, I saw the Mayweather Mayhem over there.
Well, I want to talk about that, but there was there was some pretty interesting fights this weekend. There was also there's some pretty interesting fights coming up right now. I mean, just today they had the and I'm gonna go right into it. They had the Spence Crawford final press conference. I believe it was if I'm not mistaken, it was in New York or something like that. And I guess they were pretty respectful. They're gonna leave all the shenanigans for the day they walk into the ring, and they can finally get to compete each other. The fans of what they've been waiting to see for this for the longest time. I'm glad it happened. Now. I mean, I believe it or not, I wish it would have happened sooner. But it's better than later, right? And what do you think about that? Did you get a chance to see it, or if not, what do you think about that fight? Who you got? What's your opinion on these guys?
I'm glad you brought it up. I was saying the same thing that they should have fought before, but you know what? God got his timing, because for some reason I'm starting to look at it now, and they're more mature. They're not over the hill. And I think they're both in a good space, even though Spence had the accident. But when I see them now, Spence looking strong, man. Spence is looking strong. These guys are going to go at it, bro. I don't think it's going to be a chess match, but I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, man.
It's hard to say. There's so many topics I want to talk about today, but it's hard to say who's going to win that fight. I mean, my heart was with Bud. Not that I have anything against. I never met any really. I've only seen them. I never really met them. So I don't have any favoritism as far as an allegiance to either one of them. But the reality of the situation is, I'm with Bud only a little bit. I just think that his boxing acumen is just a little bit greater than Spence. They both had their share of good challenges and things like that. But I just think that Bud's repertoire is a little bit more diversified. He can switch up. He can do different angles. He could be aggressive. He could be a boxer. He could definitely pop counterpunch. What do you think about those things? What do you see their best attributes are?
I said it last week. You got the lightning and you got the thunder. What comes first? The lightning, right? Well, I see Terrence getting there first. How does Spence react to that? Everybody's saying, how is Crawford gonna react? But if the lightning comes first, it's gonna seem if the storm is gonna come. We don't know. I mean the thunder. We don't know if the thunder is gonna really catch this dude. I mean, he's always on his feet. When I see Spence, he got one look and he keeps coming forward. I just can't see him catching Crawford. If Crawford, and it's not going to be that Crawford is running. He's going to use. Do you know the size of the ring for this fight or no?
You know, I don't know. I don't have I'm not privy to that information at this particular time. But to tell the truth, it ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be an 18 by 18. I know that for sure.
Right.
You know, I assume it's gonna be at minimal 20 by 20. But you know, what do I know, right? I know that it definitely ain't gonna be an 18 by 18. But in saying that, yeah, you know, it's gonna be interesting who makes the better and quicker adjustments, no?
Exactly, and the size of the ring, the more space Terrence got, the more he gonna be moving and utilizing that whole ring. Again, Spence, as far as cutting the ring off, sometimes look what Sean Porter. I keep watching that fight. Porter took it to him, man. Sean Porter, that was a close fight. I don't know. They should have gave that fight a draw. To me.
Well, I mean, there was a couple times that you know, I seen some things that maybe could have swayed the judges. You know, I mean, the reality of the situation is that, you know, when you're the house guy, when you're the house promoter, when you're promoted by the house promoter, and you got the card stacked against you, if it's close or if it's, and you know, if you don't really just totally dominate the guy, you know, you're subject to a decision you're not going to like. I may not like it, you may not like it, but there has to be something said to having, you know, it shouldn't be this way, but in many ways it is, because the reality of the situation, what's the point of having a house advantage, home field advantage, if you're not given that advantage? You're in the house, you're you know, your promoters promoting the show, it's your people backing the whole thing. You know, the reality of the situation is that you have to have some type of advantage. I have a comment here real quick. I want to read it. It says, peace, from Carl Suleiman. It says, Crawford has never faced an opponent like Spence. And you know what, Carl? I mean, I could agree with that. But I just look at, you know, like I said, I'm a fan of both of them. And I'm really happy that we got it sooner than later. Like, I remember when Tyson was going to fight Holyfield, you know, and that never transpired because of the legalities of what went on. He went on a government paid vacation for a little while. And when he came back, for me, it lost his luster. It lost his fire. And I think it robbed Holyfield and several others of the opportunity of beating or winning or losing or whatever to a prime before vacation Mike Tyson. Right, because they dragged it out too long, and there could be another fights. There could be many other fights we could talk about when it comes to that. But I mean, I hope it lives up to what we all anticipated being. Every 10 or every 20 or 30 years, there's things like this. You know, this weight class from 135 or really from 130 all the way up to like 154. They're hot. These guys can bang. These guys got speed. They're very exciting. And it reminds me, not exactly, but it reminds me of the era of, you know, the Rands and Sugar Ray Leonards and Marvin Haglers and stuff like that. And in many ways, when I look at Spence, I see him as a cross of that lineage. But at the same time, I see Bud the same way. Like I would look at the same grit as a Marvin Hagler, you know. And Carl made another comment. He says, and Spence has never faced an opponent like her. It's true, and that's what makes it for a great fight, you know. So he says, so what will be the difference? I mean, I don't know. You know, maybe it is who lands first, who lands the better shot first. What do you think, Ray?
Oh man, I go back and forth. I got Terrence, man. I got to take Terrence. It's like Sugar Ray Hagler. Everybody thought Hagler was going to go through him, and Sugar just moved on him. He got, hey, I'm a boxing teacher. I teach people how to box. I don't teach people how to get stuck in mud. So if Terrence knows what he's going to do, he can't stay there with Spence. You know, you gotta box him. You gotta outbox him.
Can I ask you this? Yeah. Is it because you're maybe a little biased because you like lefties and you like to train lefties and you know Hagler was even though Sugar Ray beat Hagler and he was a lefty, but you know Bud he throws punches from either way.
I want to say yeah, but I think it's more than that. I always like Crawford. I always like his timing is like. His timing is something else. His reflexes, man. You know what I mean? Like you know, counter punching is not easy, bro. Like I just see Spence a little slower. I'm not saying he's gonna knock Spence out, but he might outpoint him. And if he knocks him out, it's not like he can't. Now, as far as Spence, of course, we're concerned about him catching Crawford with a good shot. But who got the advantage there? To do with the more looks, man. He got different gears. He's like you talking an automatic car that's strong against a car that got 3 gears. He can go slow, medium, and he can blitz.
Well, that's a good analogy. You know, yeah. I'm with my man here, Carl. He says, look, I look at it like this. Like, I really think that the boxing acumen that this guy has, you know, as far as, I mean, they're both very intelligent when it comes to boxing, but I just think that Crawford has a little bit more in the arsenal, right? But I really think that the first guy, and people don't talk too much about Bud's punching power, because he does have pop to his punch. He just does things in an intelligent manner. He catches you when you least expect it, right? But the reality is, no, he says neither can afford to make the same mistake. They can't, you know, if they make a mistake, they can't make the same mistake twice, because they're gonna record it. It's gonna be inputted, and the next time they make it, they're gonna get caught. You know, Ian Schoolboy, Garrett, he says it's now skills and technique. That's what you're gonna see in this fight: skills and technique. Real quick, we're gonna introduce our next guest, but let me just say this real quick. I want to there's a couple of subjects I want to talk about. Maybe we'll bring our man, Mr. Haddabah, on our show and ask him some stuff about this stuff. But Teofimo Lopez announced a retirement. I have a certain view on this. I have a certain perspective on this. What do you think about this before I give my input?
Man, when I first heard that, the first thing I said, he don't want that smoke at 140. I just said, to me, yeah, they say he wants more money. Guess what? I don't think they're going to give it to him. He's not a big money draw. Like, why would you not want to fight at least Haney? He was always talking about Haney this. He's an email champion. Dude, if you retire now, what you ducking an email champion? Like, everything he said goes out the window. Why would he not at least fight Haney? You know what I mean? Like, come on, he's retiring. I think he knows the smoke is coming at 140. He beat what's his name? This guy just now. What's Scott? What's his name? Taylor? Josh Taylor?
He beat that Scottish man. Yeah. Man, I'm ashamed to say I forgot his name, but the reality is, go ahead.
To me, that's a robot. He bought a guy that he could outpoint. Now, besides Teofimo, which I think that should have been a draw. I mean, Loma, that should have been a draw. That was his toughest fight. And Loma's, let's be real, bro. Loma's on his way out. He's already of age. Now, before that, I want to ask you, who has Teo fought and beat before that?
Well, before Loma. I mean, he's fought a few guys. I would have liked him. Well, let me change my answer here. Let me just say this. Let me go back to what my original question was. I really think that, and I want to bring in my guest in a few minutes, Imran on here real quick, because I like to get his input. He's a current and he's an upcoming fighter, and I want to see his perspective on things, right? And his perspective of being in the game right now with his his teeth deep in it. It'd be interesting to see what he thinks about this, right? But I just think between you and I, he's in his 20s. He's a young cat. You know, he's a two-time, you know, undisputed champion, all this other stuff. I just think that this is a ploy to draw more money, because when you're a two-time whatever undefeated or whatever, not undefeated, undisputed champ or whatever the case may be, lineal champ, and these guys are out there making, you know, 5, 10, 20 million dollars, and his purse I think was 1.5. I think that right now he's looking at things and saying to himself, hey, listen, man, I gotta start, you know, I gotta start doing certain things. And he's talking about opening up a gym in South Florida. Yo, listen, I've owned, you know, 3 gyms in Florida, 4 gyms in Florida. You know, it's a rat race. You know, it's real tough. You know, I'm gonna switch gears real quick. Tamifio is not ducking. He's pushing the reset button on his life. He's got a divorce. His father, Bob Arum, Top Rank Promotions. He has a lot. He has to move on from all of them, and that's Carl's opinion. And I really think that has a lot to do with it. Right now, he's going through a divorce, a child custody battle. You know, I'm not really sure what's going on with the dad or Bob Arum, because I'm not privy to that information. But the reality of the situation is that I'm sure he doesn't feel like people are valuing his work. And you know, at the end of the day, someone told me this a long time ago, that if you don't put a price on what you're worth, somebody's going to put it for you. And when they put it for you, it's always going to be less than what you expected. That being said, if you don't mind me, Ray, I'm going to introduce the guest of honor, the man himself. And I want to say this with respect and fear, because I was a light heavyweight, and I'm glad I never faced nobody as tall as he was. But 6'4", light heavyweight, hard punching machine, straight out of St. Pete, Florida, fighting on the Boxing Hall of Fame. Everybody better get their tickets, get down to the show. It's gonna be popping. You want to see this young man. He's laying people out, and he's making a name for himself and everybody in South Florida or in St. Pete area. And I would like to introduce Imran. I want to make sure I don't say it wrong. Haddabah. What's up, baby?
What's up? You almost got it right on the nose.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. How you doing, champ?
Man, I'm doing good. I just finished a run. I'm over here relaxing now. I'm in some nice AC, getting ready to eat dinner.
Hey, and I'm sure it's well deserved, man. So I know you probably heard a little bit of oh wait, somebody wrote here. You know a guy named Victor Melendez? He wrote El Toro, Arabe. Ooh, there you go. That's your nickname?
Yeah. What's up, Vic?
What's up, Vic? Boxing Playhouse. Thanks for showing us some love. Like I said, first and foremost, man, you know, you fight in the same weight class I am, and I don't think. How old are you right now? You're like you're like in your late. Yeah, you're a young man. Do you think you peaked out at weight, or you think you'll move up? Because you're a big dude.
Oh no, I'll definitely move up. The more I'm fighting, it's a little bit harder for me to make the weight. But I got another good 2 years in this weight class, and then I'll move up to the cruiserweight, and then I'll move up to the heavyweight, and then super heavyweight, and then I'll do something like Canelo and go right back down to 175.
Man, you got the height to do it. Just don't make the same mistake that Roy did, that he went from light heavyweight to heavyweight and then went himself back down. And even though me and Roy have our little qualms when it comes to certain things, I really think between you and I that when he went up to that weight and skipped over the cruiserweight and then went right back down to light heavyweight, I think he destroyed, or not destroyed, but I think he diminished a lot of his athletic ability, because he was never the same after that.
Yeah, because you're depleting your body. You're never going to be able to perform if you're taking it away from your body.
Yeah. You know, when I was fighting in my career, and like I said, I was a light heavyweight for about 30 of my fights, and I have about 42 pro fights. I was just, you know, I have T-Rex arms. I have a big head. I'm short, you know, and probably the tallest guy I ever fought was Antonio Tarver, right out of St. Pete, where you guys are from, right?
Yeah.
And you know, when I was in there, man, I was like, you know, I mean, it was a tough fight to begin with, you know. I mean, he's Antonio Tarver, right? He's a good fighter. He's the Magic Man, and I really thought I could beat him, you know. But when I got in there, I was like, damn, somebody throw me a ladder, you know. I mean, he was just too damn tall, you know. I'm 5'9" with shoes on, you know what I mean? And I was like, Jesus, this dude is like, somebody just throw me either a ladder or like some brass knuckles or something, because I couldn't catch it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, the guys are getting bigger and bigger, more athletic. I mean, look at you, 6'4". Well, let's talk about your record. You're 9-0. I think it's June 30th at the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm looking forward, hopefully being there, right, and supporting my fellow inductees and fighters like yourself. To date, I mean, you only have 9 fights. Did you have an extensive background in the amateurs? I didn't really notice.
Yeah. So in amateurs, I had, I want to say, almost 50 boxing. It's like 48, 40 something boxing.
That's good. That's healthy.
I think I was ranked number 5. I ended up getting ranked number 5 in the nation, going to the nationals and everything.
Wow.
And then I actually have some kickboxing experience too. I had about 15 fights kickboxing.
Yeah, no, kickboxing. I don't like anything about kickboxing. I fought this guy from Tampa. His name was Orlando Rivera. He was like a world kickboxing champion.
I know exactly who he is too.
He's
Orlando
a tough guy.
Rivera.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, bro. And when I was boxing with him, I felt like he was kickboxing me when we fought. I mean, I was like, damn, like I was getting kicked. But they have like a different type of energy,
Mm-hmm.
We have Victor again saying he's putting out your accolades, man. It says Florida Golden Gloves, super heavyweight champ. What year was that?
2019.
2019. Wow, that's awesome.
2019 or 2020, one of the two.
Is that when you went to the nationals?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went into the nationals in 2021, and then again in 2022, the beginning of 2022.
Wow. And then it says here also that you were ranked number 5 at 178 and under for USA Boxing. I mean, listen, there's no doubt in my mind. And when I looked at some of the stuff you did as a pro, I didn't get to go back far enough in the amateurs. But I mean, you do have the pedigree. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something else. Your coach, Ali, getting inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, man. What is it going to feel like? First and foremost, the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame show, TK Promotions, everybody down there, Steve Kent, all those guys, they put on an amazing Hall of Fame event. I've been to one in New York one time. It's awesome. I've been to a few other places, and I don't like to name them out, but Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, I mean, he draws a who's who of boxing, first and foremost. You get a lot of exposure. T&K Promotion does a really big deal. What is it going to feel like to you? Has it hit reality that not only are you going to fight on the Hall of Fame show, but your coach is getting inducted that weekend? What is that? What's going through your mind and his mind?
Honestly, it hasn't hit me yet. It never really hits me until the day of the fight. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can take this all in and enjoy it. Right now, I'm worried about making weight and getting ready. So everything else just flies by.
Talking about weight, when I was fighting, like I said, I was a fat kid inside trying to get out, and I was losing the battle, man. I was like, that was my worst enemy. I would walk by the refrigerator, and it was like I was like Pookie from New Jack City. It was like I don't know what drugs are like, but it was like maybe crack. Like every time I walk by the refrigerator, I just wanted to like open it up and just go crazy in there, I always had, like I said, from the age of 15 years old, at 5'7", 5'8", I was 200 plus pounds, I wasn't a chubby kid. I just big boned, And I try to get down as low as I can, and the lowest I ever got was 171. And that was like I needed a kickstand for my head because my head is so big. But but in saying that, what's it? When I hit like the 27, 28 years of age, my body, my metabolism started changing. And without divulging any secrets, how's your weight loss? How's your training going? How's your preparation? How does Ali have you doing certain things over there?
It's going good. Weight, as soon as I hit this 28, it's the same thing. It wasn't as easy as before. Before, I can start my diet 3 weeks out, and I'll be 175 on the head by the weigh-ins. Now I got to start it about 4 to 6 weeks out, just so I don't have to kill myself to make that weight.
Yeah.
But I'm the same way. I'll walk by the fridge. I'll open it up. I'll be like, oh, let me have a bite of this, bite of that, close it, go to sleep. I can't sleep when I'm hungry. That's my problem. I'll start tossing and turning. I'll wake up at 2, 3 in the morning. So I'll have to get up, grab me a quick bite, and then go right back to sleep. It's like a little secret.
Hey Ray, you got any question for the champ here? I mean, I 6'4". I see nothing but sky's the limit, and it has nothing to do with his stature.
Okay. What do they call you, Imran? What is your name? What do they nickname you?
El Toro, Arabe.
El Toro, I like that. Torito Ayala.
You got like a Spanish accent. You speak Spanish?
Un poquito. My mom's Venezuelan. My dad's Palestinian. So that's where the name, the Arabic bull, El Toro Arabe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm noticing, how many knockouts you got?
7.
Wow. You know why I noticed? Because let me see your hand. Your fist look as big as your head.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Look at that hand, man.
He could be the NBA player or knockout artist in boxing, one of the two.
Yeah, we'll go for the NBA after.
How many rounds you fighting now?
8.
8 rounds.
Is this your first 8?
No, second. My first 8 was the last fight for the NBA belt, which I actually got right here.
All right.
Nice.
I haven't hung it up yet, but
that's a pretty belt, man.
I love it. Honestly, one of the prettier belts.
Your knockouts, what rounds are they usually in? In the middle of the fight? Your knockouts.
The first, I have 5 of my 7 knockouts were in the first round.
Woo!
One was in the 5th round of a 6-round fight, and one was in the 2nd round.
Man, your jab must be crazy.
That's all we work on it.
That jab, right?
That jab, everything comes right after it.
How do you get in boxing? How did it start, man?
Honestly, it started because my parents wanted to get rid of the kids.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
We have so I have 6 brothers and 1 sister.
Jesus.
So we have a family of 8, and we're all maybe there's 1 year, skip a year, 1 year. So we're all within 10 years. All of us are there. Like my older brother's a year older than me. My little brother's a year and a half younger than me.
Wow.
Like back to back to back to back. And my uncle was actually training at Ali's and told my dad, he was like, yeah, you can drop them off during the summer. They'll take care of your kids for 3 hours.
Wow.
And so every day for the summer, they would drop all 8 of us off. My mom, it was like the biggest break for my mom. She said that was her favorite time of the day, dropping us off and doing what needs to get done in those 3 hours. And then she'll come pick us up and as soon as we get home, we pass out just because of how tired we were. So she was like, it was one of the perfect things she did.
Wow, man. Your dad was busy, huh? Your father was busy.
Hey, he
wasn't watching TV.
He wanted a girl. All 7 boys.
Wow.
And then the last one is a girl. And as soon as that girl came, my mom was like, all right, we're done.
Wow.
So she's the baby.
She's the baby.
So you guys spoiled her.
Yeah. She gets
spoiled enough from my parents.
So how old is she?
She just turned 17.
So needless to say, ain't nobody gonna come over the house and date her, but she got 7 brothers.
Never.
One is a 6'7" boxer.
And my little brother, he's ranked 8 right now in USA boxing, and he fights at 60 or 65 in the amateur.
Wow, look at that. You guys spar? You move with him? You move around with him?
Oh yeah. I love it.
Well,
He's like an Energizer bunny. He stays on his toes and he keeps moving.
I like that.
So check this out. Sakura made a comment here about the 7 brothers and 1 sister, right? Mm-hmm. So Sakura said her sister had 7 girls trying for the boy, and they just finally threw in the towel. They said, "The hell with this."
Tell her the 8th time's a try.
Hey, I left that to her sister. Real quick. So you won the National Boxing Association title at what? Light heavyweight?
Yeah.
I won it in 2000 in light heavyweight as well. I have my wife. That's one of the belts that I got there. Yeah. And it was one of the prouder moments of my life. It was pretty cool.
Oh, I love that moment. It was a great moment for me. The whole night, everybody that showed up. It's crazy how you don't think that many people show up, and then that many people show up once you finish, and it's like, wow, everybody came here, watch me do this. It's a great feeling.
Sakura said, "Hey, listen, don't even tell her about having some kids like that. Those are fighting words. Don't ever tell her to do it for the 8th one." you might have your toughest challenge right there.
I'm running.
So let me ask you a question, man. I met your coach one time. I'm ashamed to say that I can't say that I know him. I know of him. I keep up with him on social media. Great dude, very savvy with the game. Him getting inducted into the Hall of Fame is beyond worthy. What what's it like working with him? What's it like? What's it like being around him? Because let me tell you something. The one time that I seen him at a fight, he very businesslike. I mean, not rude or anything, you know, very cordial, but very business. All about his fighters. What's it like?
He's very old school. He trains a lot. What I liked about him, what really got me stuck with him is mentally we're like this. He knows what I'm thinking, what he's thinking, even if I'm in a bad mood, good mood, like, which is good. And he trains like an old school. Like, the stories he has are crazy. I can't even tell you, but it's like, oh, coach, I'm sick. No, you're not. Get up and go run. My wrist hurt. Put extra tape on it. Let's go. It's a lot of it's mental. He trains you mentally and he trains you physically. And he gets you ready for all aspects of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, at your age, and this is, I'm a trainer myself nowadays. I mean, I've been a trainer for the last, even the latter part of my career, I was a trainer. You know, I was last 20 years of my life. Me and a gentleman in Ocala, Florida, named T&K'S, we had a gym in my backyard one time, and that's how we started off. So we kind of like always been training somebody. But in saying that, I always tell my fighters the same thing your coach does with you mentally. It's really at your age, at your age right now, it's not physical, because physically you could do anything. Yeah. It's really the mental aspect of it. When you start getting to be, you know, in your 30s and 40s, it becomes more a challenge physically because your body can't do the same thing it once did, right? Yeah. But in saying that, you know, you're in the gym in St. Petersburg, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got Dan Birmingham's gym, you know, St. Pete Boxing. St. Pete area. And be honest with you, I used to train in St. Pete Boxing. Dan Birmingham was my coach for a short period of time when I went to college at USF. I went to USF for a couple of years, you know? I had the privilege of working out with, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but I'm trying to get to a point. I had the privilege of working with, to me, one of the best defensive-minded, and not to take anything from his offensive fight, but Winky Wright, just a true gentleman, unbelievable human being. You see him today, you see him 20 years ago. He's the same guy, down to earth. Jeff Left Hook Lacey. Not many people mention this guy. Darryl Woods, a guy named Darryl Woods that was from back in the day, real good fighter. You know, obviously Antonio Tarver, originally from Orlando, but lives in Tampa, you know, in that area. You're following, not necessarily following, but you come from an area that many people don't understand that produces a lot of world champions, be it Ali, be it Coach Ali, or be it Dan Birmingham, or any of the other guys who are over there. You know, you come from an area that produces a lot of fighters. How does that make you feel? World champions, not just fighters, but world champions.
It makes me feel good just because when you get to talk to them, because almost every person you named I've talked to. Let's not forget Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman. I only met him once, so I don't know him.
Yeah, super down to earth guy. I go running downtown St. Pete all the time. He lives down there. Every single time I'm running, I see him almost every single time, and we'll sit there and we'll talk, and he'll try to break it down for me. He'll try to explain what it's like being in the big leagues, the world title fights, what's going on, the media, the press, just what comes behind it, not just fighting for a title. So I like it because mentally it's preparing me what to expect, especially since so many of the greats from St. Pete have done it.
Awesome. You know, I don't know who I can compare you to over there. I think Tarv is what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah. I think 6'2".
I don't know who I can compare you in that area because I don't know if anybody's come out that tall in that weight class from that area. I'm very well versed with boxers in St. Peter area, but go ahead, tell me.
We got Roger Kalajic, Hot Rod.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
He's 6'3", almost 6'4". He fought for a world title. He fought Arthur Betterbeef. He is who I kind of look up to, just because when I was fighting at heavyweight. And he was fighting at light heavyweight, and we were about the same height. And my coach was always, if Rod can do it, you can do it. If Rod can do it, you can do it. And that's what really got me started to moving down, because I didn't believe I can make it down to 175. I would have never thought of it. And then he was telling me, he was like, look at him. Look, he's fighting on ESPN. He's getting ready for a title shot. He's making it at 175. You got such an advantage because everybody I'm fighting 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. So I'll always have an advantage on him. And he's probably the best sparring partner I've ever had.
Wow.
Sparred with.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. You know, when I was coming up, and I like to ask this question, you know, to this very day, I have always dreamt from the amateurs. You know, I'm from the Bronx, New York, kind of originally, but I found that if I say that too much, I give a disrespect to my Florida native, my Florida peoples, because a lot, I would say about 80% of my career was based out of Florida. So I have a deep rooted love for Florida, you know, and the Florida fighters for that being said, you know. But in saying that, you know, being from Florida, being there, you know, it's such embedded with boxing and such a heritage in that area in particular, not just Miami and Orlando, but Tampa for, you know, has produced a lot of world champions, like like top guys, right?
Yeah.
Is there somebody, and I don't know if there's an answer to this, but that you always wanted to fight, even like right now, you look at guys in the top 20 or top 10 or whatever. My guy was always Roy Jones. Everybody that knows me knows that. You know, I had the honor and privilege to work with him a time or two, and that was my dream fight. It never happened. You know, God willed it to be differently, and it just is what it is, right? Is there somebody in your early career right now? You're a young man with 9 fights onto, you know, God willing to move forward and win your 10th fight. They you like, yo, I want to knock him off his pedestal, because that was my dream. I'm like, yo, listen,
yeah.
The first time I sparred with Roy, I felt like I was in it with 5 invisible people. It was like I didn't know where the punches were coming from. You know, now we sparred with each other several times after that, but that initial time, I was just maybe I was intimidated. I'm not sure. I don't know what it was, because he's extremely fast and has really long arms. But he taught me a lot of things in that sparring session and the conversations that we had after that about speed. I didn't realize that I was a fast person. I just wasn't adapting it to my punching, right? But in saying that, is there somebody? The question I'm trying to get to is there somebody like, yo? Is it the Smith? Is it Beta? Was it Beta View? Whatever. Is it him? Is it who's that guy out there that you're looking for in the future if they're there?
I would love to get it with Better Beef.
Okay, because you know, I mean, he's like the boogeyman in that weight class. I think now, if I'm not mistaken. You know.
Oh yeah, I think fighting him, even sparring with him, would push me over the limit. It's like, look, right now he's the best. If I need to learn anything, it's going to be from him, whether it's sparring or fight. And I think he's a little old right now too, so I don't know if he's going to be there in a year or two when I'm finally at that level, that stage, to where it's like, okay, I have these 20 fights, my ranking's going up, it's time. You know, I've been working to get a world title shot. I don't know if he's still going to be there. If he is, all props to him. He's going to be old. I'll knock him off his pedestal.
Well, I mean, hopefully he'll still be there. I mean, I think he's pretty tall. He's about 6'2", no?
6'1".
6'1"?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know, so he's a big guy too, you know. But I always ask those questions because a lot of fighters, I don't want to ask you, and a lot of people always ask fighters, who do you emulate? I don't think there's anybody, you know, you could really emulate with your size, height, and reach and stuff like that, you know. But in saying that, you know, I always wonder who's that guy. You know, my guy was always, I wanted to beat Roy Jones. That's who I wanted to beat. You know, and you know, never transpired. You know, I got my hands handed to me by a few guys, and I beat 34 guys, and I lost to 7 guys, right? But when I looked, and I was never the best, the only person that could say that is Rocky Marciano and Floyd Mayweather and Kawasaki, I think, right? But the reality of the situation is that, to me, during my era from 1997 to 2016, a little bit before that, to me, the best guy to me was Roy Jones. No disrespect to Antonio Tarver, because he obviously cleaned his clock. Yeah. A great person who I admire and I love like a brother, Glenn Johnson, knocked him out. You know, me and Glenn had really good sparring wars in the gym, and I love him to death. And no disrespect to him, to me, he wasn't that guy that I wanted to fight, because I sparred with him. He was like a brother to me in my days, you know. My guy was Roy Jones, and that's why I wanted to ask you, who's your guy? And you just answered it. Is there anybody else?
Not anybody else that I want to be, but I have this weird thing where I'll look at certain people and I'll try to imitate what they do and how they fight. Like little things here, little things there. Like I love the way Oscar De La Hoya fights. I love the way Shakur Stevenson fights, but they fight totally different. But I like the way he uses his length. Like Shakur Stevenson's the master at keeping that length, and he doesn't bounce around. He keeps these little steps to where he moves forward, he moves back. He's always this far away, and then he's in your face. Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya just knows how to punch, and he would put his chin down, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations just come out of nowhere.
You know, you're right. I don't think he gets enough credit. He gets a lot of, people clown him because of some of the shenanigans he's done out of the boxing ring. But the reality of the situation is, you want to know something, man. He's a gold medal winner. He's the golden boy. How many people could say that, right? He's been, and to my eyes, he's been a fairly decent businessman. He's been relevant, way before, the gold medal, but he's been pretty relevant this whole time. He hasn't stepped out of the driver's seat per se. And people don't give him enough credit for his boxing repertoire and what he brought to the game as a fighter, not just as a promoter / manager / whatever he is. So that's a pretty good analogy. I'm glad you said that, Yeah. Ray, you got something you want to say?
Man, I'm glad he brought up Bebo, man. This guy, Torito, you're gonna be champion. You're already on the right track, looking at guys and picking up things here and there. When you mentioned Bebo, do you know why he beat Canelo? Did you really analyze what he was doing with Canelo?
He was Canelo would let those 2, 3 punches off, and he would wait for him and then answer back with 3 or 4.
Did you notice he throw the 1-2-1, the jab, right hand back to the jab?
Wow.
Now that right there doesn't let Canelo set up. He got to reset. You got to reset. That's why I'm taking turns Crawford, because you keep watching Bebo. That's all you got to watch. De La Hoya was a monster. How's your uppercut, by the way? How's your uppercut?
Man, I'm trying to work on the right one.
Yeah.
The left one, I got it nailed down perfectly. That right one just kind of scares me because I don't like to throw it out. I'm a little hesitant on it right now, but we're working on it in the gym. Watch
Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe was a master throwing the right uppercut, man.
Riddick
Bowe, man. He had that right uppercut, and that's a dangerous punch. You're right-handed, correct?
Yeah.
That's your power punch. And a lot of guys are going to trying to come inside of you because you're so long. The only way to get in on you is to come in under.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to take a few. They're going to have to take a few to get in there.
Oh, I'll earn their respect too. That's the first thing I'll do in the first round is make sure you're gonna wait. You're gonna try to because you're not just gonna walk in.
Hey, I'm gonna call you the Matador. I'm not gonna call you Torito. I'm gonna call you the Matador.
The Matador.
You're not gonna let guys come in on you like that.
No.
If they come into the kitchen, you're gonna get cooked.
And matador in Spanish is killer.
Matador.
Hey, Imran, let me ask you a question. This is your second time fighting the Hall of Fame, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. The first time, I wasn't privy to that. I think it was it 222?
I can't even remember. I think it was my it was later because it was my second pro fight.
What year was that?
2022.
2022. Yeah. Okay. So you obviously have a crowd. That's your hometown. You know what I mean? What do you expect, man? You expect a big following. You expect a lot of love. I mean, listen, you get to fight against Roy Jones, Vivian Harris. I think David Eishorn's on there. Your coach is going to be working your corner that day. Hopefully he's going to have a great time and enjoy it and bask in the glory of his induction. But hopefully, God willing, everything goes great. No one gets hurt and nothing like that. And you go out there and beat the ever living whatever out of this guy. It's really unbelievably an historical weekend.
Yeah, honestly, it is. And I the first fight that I had at the Boxing Hall of Fame, the guy ended up like hurting his shoulder. Like after I dropped him, he fell on his shoulder and he was crying that his shoulder was the reason he couldn't continue. So I want to make it like a fact. Like, I actually want to take somebody out at the Boxing Hall of Fame, not just have somebody use an injury as an excuse.
Well, let me just say this as a former fighter. Right now, that all I do is fight against the refrigerator, and I'm kind of losing that, you know. But in saying that, you know, don't ever, you know, I'm sure your coach will tell you this. Let things come naturally with your natural ability, your hard work that you put in. Don't try for it. When you try for it, it'll never happen, you know.
Yes, sir.
And saying that, you know, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend, June 30th in St. Petersburg. You know, you got to come see this young man. You know, what I mean, listen. To me, you're a freak of nature. You're like the Kelly Pavlik of the middleweight division or whatever. That's a serious thing, man. And at the end of the day, you know, everybody looks up at you, right? I just hope, you know, I'd like to see guys go like 2 or 3 rounds. I don't like first round knockouts because you don't get to see much. I like it to go at least 2 to 3 rounds. But I like, hopefully, God willing, you know, and the third round, you know, the guy's looking up at you from a different perspective, flat on his back.
I hope. My goal is to go in there and just box, put on a show. Whether it comes in a knockout or not, my goal is just to showcase my skills, let everybody know that, look, I mean business. I'm not just here because I can hit hard, but I can box too.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Skills.
Oh, yeah.
The things that you say shows me that your talent goes beyond just physical ability. Your intelligence it's up there. You know what I mean? Which means that you take your craft very seriously. No, Ray?
How old is he?
He's 28 years old. He's a young man.
My son's age, man. Listen, I used to work with Mark Breland, man. I'm gonna give you a tip here, you know, and I'm pretty sure your trainer won't mind.
No, please, I'll take everything. I'm always open ears.
That's beautiful. Check it out. The speed bag. A lot of people just hit it there and they're hitting it. We worked on range with the speed bag. We was boxing the speed bag. A lot of people don't do that. They just hit the speed bag right there. We working on range. He used to crack that from long distance. Wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for a skinny guy, bro, he used to knock dude out.
And you know,
listen,
Mark Breland was the best man at his wedding.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah, that was my dude. And when I held Mitch with him, he always had a thing. I don't want to say it here, but I'll give a message to Danny to tell you what tricks he showed me. As a trainer, we don't stop learning neither. We could learn from our fighter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had one of the best trainers called Papa Washington. Salute to Papa George Washington, best style. So when I did Mitch with him, man, I learned also how to work distance. Because when he threw that right hand, I meant to make sure that I caught him otherwise he'll break his wrist, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Huh.
So a lot of people thought that he had a weak chin. Nah, it was his knees, man. His knees used to go. He used to hit so hard his knees unbuckled.
Oh wow!
True story.
Wow.
Did
he injure his knee or something like that, or was he just like
running with combat boots, bro, on concrete?
Yeah.
Some of that old school stuff you can't. You take some of it, you can't do it all because those guys wore and tore their whole body, man. They trained like gorillas, you know.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Imran. I don't like to ask fighters, and I think it's moronic when people do this. What's their best punch? What do they like most? Why would you reveal that to the world on social media? Why would you reveal that to your opponent or whoever's watching this, right? But is there an aspect of boxing that you think to yourself, I'm gonna cut above when it comes to certain things? Whether it's, you know, like I have some fighters who like to go running. I have a kid that runs 3 hours because he just likes to run marathons. He's bananas, right? I ran because I had to lose weight and get in shape, and it was therapeutic for me. But I ain't running 3 hours. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing that, you know. But is there something in boxing that you and your coach work on, or you work on your own that you just absolutely love? Because listen, nobody lets get punched in the face.
Yeah.
But there's certain things of boxing. Like I absolutely loved sparring. I loved it. To me, and this is an adult show. To me, training was like foreplay. And sparring and fighting was like, you know, finally,
getting
getting the sunshine. You know what I mean? Like I loved it. You know, that was me. I loved it. It was everything to me. Is there something about boxing that you like?
Oh yeah, sparring. There's two
Uh-huh.
things that I love to do. One is the sparring. I like tomorrow, Thursday is sparring day. I can't wait. I'm gonna sleep happy because I know I'm gonna wake up, work, and then I'm gonna go straight to the gym, and it's gonna be sparring with try to get 10 rounds. And if it's not sparring, we're gonna do running. I'm a very big runner.
Okay.
I just finished running right now. I won't run 3 hours. I'll give you an hour and a half, maybe 2, depending on a good day. I'll try to do maybe a half marathon, and that's again very therapeutic for me. I like to be in my head a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm in my head a lot, especially when I run. Sometimes I look down at my watch and I'm already 7 miles in, and I'm like, dude, I feel like I just started.
Wow.
It's a very good mental game. It's a very good mental game too, because one, I like to play back a lot of things mentally. Me walking into the ring, a shot that caught me in sparring, how am I gonna mess that up? Or how am I gonna avoid that? The combos I want to throw, how am I gonna do it? Mentally, I like to prepare. And then it helps me with toughness, especially if I'm getting tired or I feel like I need water, and I'm like, all right, let me push this extra 2 miles, 3 miles, see how I feel after. And once I finish those 2 or 3, it's like, look, everything is all mental. And once you can get past it mentally, you can do it physically.
Huh.
Absolutely.
Sakura asks, because I don't like to ask, I don't like fighters to show their arsenal or show their number one shot or whatever. But is there a particular punch that you like?
My jab.
Your jab. That's a great answer.
Yeah, boy.
My jab.
That's a great answer.
Everything goes behind the jab.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Listen, I tell people all the time when I spar with some people, I'm like, if I hurt you with my jab, you're in a world of trouble when I throw my right hand on my left hook, So eventually I learned, like I said, when I spar with certain individuals, their jab used to blow my mind. I'm like, wow, this dude is so fast. And he taught me how to put 2 and 2 together to realize that I was also as fast, because I used to run a nice good 40 or 50-yard dash, and I was pretty good at football. That's how I went to USF,
Oh hell yeah!
But I think with your jab, with your height and your reach, I think that you'll be able to kill everybody with a jab. Like they wouldn't need a ladder and an extended measuring stick to hit you with your reach and stuff.
I'll break them down all day with the jab.
Yeah, yes, sir. Like a tree. Yep.
Like a tree.
When you go running, I want to throw another tip, man. I don't know. I like you, bro. You're trainable. You know what I mean? Like you're probably a trainer's dream, but I'm gonna say something else. Take the mouthpiece with you when you go running. When you work on your sprints, put the mouthpiece on. Sprint with the mouthpiece. Right down. Take the mouthpiece back off. Then go back. Change your gears. Change them.
And I do. When at downtown St. Pete, they have this little hill. It's probably 40 yards, and it's just a hill that goes at a really high pitch. So when I do my short runs, which is like a 5-mile run, when I get there, it's about 1.5 miles in, and I'll do 10 sprints where I sprint up the hill, and then I jog back down, sprint up. Once I do that 10 times, I'll finish the extra 2.5 miles at a slower pace of course. And then that's my sprint workout. That, and I do some bag work and then some outside work, but mainly for sprints, that's what I do. I try to go uphill on the
if you can have your coach wait on the hill, do mitts up there when you're up there. Woo! I used to do that with my fight. I used to wait up the hill. I said, okay, a trainer wants to do something more. They want to get better. And I used to always say, what else could I do? And when the hills, I used to wait for my fight up there. And once he was like, think about it. Before you get on the hill, they just shadow box. Now let's take the mitts up the hill.
Let's take the mitts. I like that idea.
Yeah, man.
Coach gonna be pissed.
Why?
You see this back there?
Yeah.
Why?
And it happened to be hitting my head. You see that?
Yeah.
That reach looks unbelievable, man. My brother, listen, we're closing out the show real quick. There's some things I want to give you the forum to speak on yourself, see how people can get in touch with you. Where could they buy these tickets? Where don't listen, the people shouldn't wait to the last minute to go to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame.
It's gonna be sold out. I'm gonna tell you right now, the way the tickets are moving right now, it's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be packed. You can get them through me. I'm doing drop-offs all week, or you can get them through my gym at Fight Fitness Center. They'll have the tickets at the gym as well.
How can somebody get in touch with you on social media, Facebooks, Twitters? I'm not going to tell you to put your phone number out there because that's too private. But there's a way for people to get those tickets. You know, how can people follow you? How can people be like, yo, listen, I want to keep in touch with this guy. I want to see this big giant, 6'4" light heavyweight. I want to keep track of what's going on with him. How do they do that?
Everywhere is my first and last name, Imran Haddabah. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, TikTok. Find me anywhere through my first and last name. All
right, man. Listen, we at Boxing Playhouse Latin America and Boxing Playhouse Entertainment. We're gonna listen. I'm gonna do my damnedest to be. I don't live in America. I live in Colombia. I got inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2021. So I'm trying to get back there and show support and show some love, especially since my AKA Nemesis Roy Jones is getting inducted. I like to be there and maybe talk some smack to him a little bit. Maybe, I definitely want to see you. Jesus Escalera, TK Promotions, his wife, they put on a great show, and this time I'll be there as a spectator. I want to make sure I see him. Victor just posted. Anybody watching this right now, just posted how to get in touch with you on all the social media outlets. Victor, you need to put him on payroll, man. This guy's a real deal, man.
And I'm telling you, Victor, that's my boy. He's been there since the amateurs, like 5-6 years ago.
Cool.
I don't know. I asked, and I don't want to put her on the spot. She can just answer me and say no. But I don't know if Sakura wants to come in and say goodbye to us and be a part of this. But my man, it's been a great pleasure to see you.
What up, man?
What up? Hola.
Hey. I can't wait to see you coming up June 30th, baby.
We're getting close. We're getting close. 2.5 weeks.
That's right. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it since Danny said you shouldn't try to get the knockout. But, Sakura A loves a great knockout. So
no, I didn't say that. I just wanted to get him I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight at least a round or two.
I mean, I understand that. But, I got to get it. I got to see what I came to see Imran for, which is the knockout. Okay?
It's going to come one way or the other.
Yes, but this time you better not leave without giving me my interview, or you're gonna be in trouble.
I knew I was gonna get yelled at.
Hey, there's no other way with me. There's no other way.
All right, I'll make sure. I promise I'll stay.
I mean, really, guys, can you guys see that he is just like an amazing person? He's so nice.
Great personality.
Yes.
Great personality. Let me tell you something. I would never step on anyone's toes. I have a great respect for Coach Ali and what he does. I've always stayed up on what he does. And like I said, I can't call him a friend because I only met him once. But and it was so brief, he probably doesn't even remember it. But in saying that, my brother, listen, man, just stay on your grind. Boxing Playhouse Entertainment, we're behind you 100%. I look forward to meeting you one day and say that we know each other. Not that we just interviewed each other,
No, we pretty much friends.
June 30th, baby. June 30th.
June 30th, man. Listen, where do they get the tickets, Sakura? Let these people know. Besides my man, the light heavyweight future champ, where can they get the tickets at?
All right. So of course you can hit Imran up on his social media or any other boxer that you're there to support, and then you can also go to www.T&K'Pro.com. Or you can scan one of the flyers. You can also hit up Boxing Playhouse in our inbox. And then there's also the Hall of Fame Gala Dinner and Expo. And, of course, the actual induction ceremonies that Sunday. You can get those tickets at Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, all written out.com. And just make sure you get them, fairly soon, because I'm already hearing from some of the key people in the organization that they're running out of room for that amazing gala that, I'm going to be dressed and decked out for Emilio as well. I need you guys to go on and get your dinner tickets, as well as the, it's only like $5 to go to the actual induction ceremony on that Sunday.
Oh, so I can even afford it.
Yeah, I can afford it. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna be big time boxers like Imran.
Not yet. Who's gonna spot me at 5?
Say what?
I said, who's gonna spot me at 5? I'm not big time yet.
Well, hey, I think they might have a discount for boxers. Hey, you know, all you got to do is talk to Tito. But he's also getting inducted, so I'm really excited about that as well. Hey, Calera and his uncle, they will be the first uncle and nephew team to be inducted. So that's pretty neat.
What a historical night. Yeah. He's fighting on the show. His coach is getting inducted. I don't know if he's a pro, but the promoter is getting inducted. Right. The promoter's relative is getting inducted. My man.
And Roy Jones is getting inducted. Like he is.
Ray Jones.
I don't want to talk about him right now.
Well, let's say that.
But what I'm saying is, my brother, what an amazing historical, like, I don't even know if that's ever really been done before. We have to look into that.
We definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, a boxer on the show who's got a trainer being inducted, his promoters being inducted, and he's going to give us a knockout. So that's an amazing night.
It is going to be an amazing night.
Yes. Tell us also about your teammate. Is it Mike?
Michael? Yeah.
Mike, Nico, how you say that? Misa. Mike,
yeah.
Misa. What weight class? He's at your same weight class?
He's at my same weight class. He's maybe an inch shorter than me.
Yeah.
And he comes from a kickboxing background too. He's a tough dude. Like even in sparring, we spar. He'll take a punch and give one. But we're trying to keep
strong foundation because of those legs.
Yeah.
They used to, they used to use some. Their foundation is crazy.
Yeah. So Danny, you'll get to see him as well. Like they both, I don't know where Ali found two tall boxers from like this, but like he hit the jackpot on that one.
Really did.
Short.
I'm gonna try to get there. Even if I can't get inside, maybe somebody can I'll be in the parking lot looking at it from my phone or something. We can figure something out.
No. I'll sneak you in.
Victor Melendez, the Twin Towers, the Towers of Terror.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll be saying y'all must have forgot soon. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this situation up. I've been super inspired and super excited by just, Imran talking about his career and, where he's wanting to go from here. And we just can't wait to see you on Friday, June the 30th. So please, guys, make sure you go ahead and get your tickets and get settled. They also got the hotel discount for anybody that wants to stay over for the weekend or even for one night or two. They can also get that with the discounted rate at the FloridaBoxingHallOfFame.com website. So now you guys just go ahead and get to that page as soon as possible. And thank you so much, Imran, for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Listen,
welcome.
Please go to the Boxing Hall of Fame websites. Go to this young future light heavyweight champions on social media spot, T&K Promotions, Boxing Playhouse. And first and foremost, if you have a friend or two, tell everybody to hit the like button, subscribe, maybe check us out. We're not trying to solicit anybody. We just want everybody to show us a little bit of love because we do this with love, we do this with honor, and we want to keep this thing going. Boxing Playhouse Latin America, Boxing Playhouse Entertainment, the boss, Sakura Armstrong, Emilio Santana. Show us some love, man, And listen, my brother, I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see you, not only in person, but I want to see you on TV.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Salute to Coach Ali.
I'll let him know.
Congratulations and welcome to the hall, Mr. Ali.
Nationally.
There we go.
Last question.
I'm gonna go eat now.
A couple years.
Yes, I am. That's a goal that's set in mind, and it's a goal I'm ready to achieve.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you coming by. We look to see you on one of these broadcasts in the near future.
Also, I would like to...
I'm very surgical, lyrical when I'm physical. So bad it now it's medical, some say critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights looking spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bad it now it's medical, some say critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights looking spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally